Anyway, I'm drugged up at the moment. I've got a bit of brain fog sort of thing. And I thought about it earlier. The druggings haven't really gone away. They've just been different types of druggings at different times. But anyway, I didn't go to the meeting that had been planned to see me go home today. And that is because I argued to one of the workers here that they're not ready, and it's quite obvious. And I don't know whether if you can watch this video, you've seen what's been going on here. You know what's been going on round here, all the shenanigans and all the rest of it, the runarounds and the Hollywood B-movie amateur dramatics and all the rest of it that goes into it, which I'll post in the description of this video just as a reminder sort of thing of the type of things that do go on, which you may or may not find useful depending on how much of access you've got to what to all the attempts at writing stories around me and see if they can wind me up or pacify me and all the rest of it. But yeah, I sort of made the argument when they tried to get me into the meeting, even though they told me that they had in fact changed the carer. That sort of doesn't change, even though they don't overtly reject what I say. It sort of doesn't take it on board. You've only got to look around at the media and so on and so forth that they produce. They're sort of, it's set up to fail sort of thing. In many ways, they really need to work that out for themselves. And it doesn't look like they're capable of doing that. I mean, this is the most powerful psychiatry, I'd argue, the most powerful institution in the West, in the Western world. And today you've seen people running around juggling different belief systems to prop up this belief system that is psychiatry, that no matter what, no matter how much power it has, seems to not quite be comfortable enough with it and yet needs more power. It's a bit like the architects in some ways, how, no matter how much power, no matter how much attention they had, they wanted more, during those 4 years between 96 and 2000, as we now know. And, I wouldn't have an argument with them. I wouldn't have an argument with psychiatry. I wouldn't bother with any of them if they weren't such of an imposition, if they hadn't become such of an imposition. But it's like I've been going around saying that two of the architects, Nikki and Kath, I'll leave it at that sort of thing, have been having the longest period in known history. You only have to look around to see that sort of thing. I mean, it's pretty amazing how much power this institution of psychiatry has acquired for itself and has been given by a bunch of people who, to me, were pretty backward in many ways. The anachronism of the how anachronistic so much of it is, how short-sighted so much of it is. And you go around, and this was my argument, that basically they're not ready, because when I go back to my hometown, judging on the basis of what's been going on here since I said, and in the lead up to it as well, since I said I won't be going to the meeting today, how everyone's been the performances have ratcheted up, and they've all been running around and sort of shifting things around a bit and trying to, and it's interesting, You see the subject position, the different subject positions they're trying to engineer. And you think, well, actually, that ain't realistic. And I did say that to one of their workers who was going to be part of the meeting. It's just not realistic. But somehow, these people have convinced themselves that when they go for different subject positions, that they've actually got a scientific legitimacy to do around that. And yet, it's really bizarre to the person that they're engineering all these subjects. Trying to engineer subject positions and so on and so forth. I mean, looking today, the majority of the stuff are above 6 foot for whatever reason, But they do. It's like one member of. I mean, she would have been put up to it, but one member of staff here started calling me sir again, and it's like, is that to imply that I'm sort of intoxicated with power? And you have to think, well, hang on, or is that just kidology? I don't know, but if it isn't kidology, it's like, hang on a sec. Not only is psychiatry arguably the most powerful institution in the Western world, but no matter how much power, like with the architects, it never seems to be enough. Like I said, and like in a few hours, it'll be the anniversary when my mum died. Watch her, watch how they perform around that sort of thing. I'm ready for it, so I know how to deal with it. And that sort of thing, like they did around Christmas, my birthday, and so on and so forth. It's just when you know how to deal with it, it's no big deal. But yeah. And so yeah, it's like. What was it the old radio commentators used to say about football? It's back to square one. In some ways, maybe. Where it will take time for them to calm down. The druggings have been going on, and then they've been running around trying to engineer subject positions, like I say, and so on and so forth, different scenarios and all the rest of it. Pretty boring, pretty not very smart either. These people are supposed to be really smart. I just don't get that, because it ain't really the smartest approach. You figure out the mindset going on behind all that, and you think, well, actually, that's really dumb. But there's not a lot I can do about it. We've got now I characterise the propaganda jukebox, which is the telly and the different songs they sing. This is like listening to a propaganda jukebox, which has been primarily British tunes, which is interesting. It's sort of reminds me of when I used to say about the coffee shop. They're sort of building up a scenario there, which did actually transpire the coffee shop eventually, even though it was going on even when I said that. But yeah, they're quite interesting, that. And you go walking around and you just like, they're writing stories already yet again, and they're performing around you yet again, and you're supposed to be this particular person or whatever, this particular subject matter. It don't coincide with reality, and this is what I said to them. And they'll never, like I said, and then this evening we've just had a load of performances. Now everyone's above 6 foot tall for some reason. I don't know whether that's some implication of power or whatever. But if they really think they need to do that, since I can't think. I'm trying to think of the Second World War and times since then. But institutions have been really powerful. I can't. But like thinking now, just how powerful psychiatry is, just how much power psychiatry has got, and the ways it's using it, and stuff like that. It's quite interesting, and like I said, that is something that fascinates me. It's like, look at all these subject positions they're going for, and they're so fucking crazy. They're like, they don't seem to know how to fucking resolve it. And that is sort of the proof in the pudding's in the eating. What exactly would have happened if I would have gone back to that flat right now? Judging on the basis of what's been going on before, during and after me saying I wouldn't be going to that meeting. And it's like, you know, I mean, for a start, it's nothing new. So it's nothing to get really too involved with emotionally. But intellectually, it is quite interesting. I mean, you're just going about your business and people are running around, and it's like, well, you think to yourself, well, it's no wonder that you people are off your heads, but that's just the way it is. You know, it's like that's just the way it goes. But yeah. So I don't know when I'll be going back home. I don't really think there'll ever be a time when psychiatry and their mates, for want of a better phrase, will ever be ready to perform, to arrange things realistically for me. I don't think that's going to happen. There's always going to be some attempt, I think, at some sort of big deal drama. There's always going to be an attempt to write stories around me and stuff like that. But even if they change, this is now what seems obvious to me. I thought if they, and this was a bit naive, I thought if they change the carer, and I didn't want a carer because I pretty much knew how it'd go, but if they change the carer that they're going to assign to me, it's the same dynamics are still going to be in play. You know, and I'm not fucking interested. You know, one of the reasons, not the main reason, but one of the reasons I'm looking forward to a life of being a recluse and why I like spending so much time in here is I can do what I like here. And I don't, I don't have to, manufacture my behaviour or my ways of going about things to pacify a bunch of crazy people. That is the way I see things. You know, like I said, maybe just like between 96 and 2000, maybe the way I see things, and maybe it is getting back, that is one of the things that is reminiscent of that time, is that I just observe people and think, well, how fucking crazy are you? But when the institutions go along with that, as they would have done off the back of some of the architects, especially the one who took the photograph, because of the way they could project some sense of authority and legitimacy and stuff like that, and respectability. It's strange. But one of the things I've been doing has been not just wholesale dismissing the 25 years that have gone. It's just sort of thinking, well, there were some okay times, and there were some good times. But really, it does make sense to, characterise that in certain ways. You know, the stuff I see coming out now, it's just like, it's either rehashed stuff or it tends to be rehashed stuff, even when it's different people coming out with it. You know, it's just variations on a theme. You know, different people saying performing pretty much the same ways that are really fucking boring. But yeah, this is just, to me, it just seems they are fucking stuck with it. There's no two ways about it. You know, if I'd have gone back to that flat, of course they're stuck with it. With having to perform things, get people performing stuff, and so on and so forth, which does suggest, if not a propaganda requirement, then at least some political requirements to have some sort of denouement or some big deal set of dramas or whatever. And look, I ain't fucking interested. So, it's like I keep saying it, not interested. You know, I'd like to have my coffee. I'd like to have the coffee that's made in my coffee machine and so on and so forth. But yeah, I'm going to have to wait for that now. But that's just the way it is. I mean, I had to ring a parcel company, quite well-known parcel company, to try and arrange something around a delivery I've got coming, and you know, it was classic psychiatry. It was just so how fucking tacky and repetitive do you want to be? And it is. It's like I did say. So what did I say the other day? About how boring it can be, but anyway, it can be. It's yeah. And that's you know, one of the good things recently has been getting into some really interesting stuff. I may do a video of the thing I was planning on doing when I got out of here, but you know, depending on how many people watch these things and observe all this, then you know, people will be able to pick that up anyway and turn it into something useful, I'm sure. You know, it's like, you know, one of the people between 96 and 2000, you know, I remember when we were kids and I did a graphic, and after I did the graphic, it was a good graphic as well at the time. The people who were part of the business that we went to try and get this game released for a computer back then, said to the guy who was my friend at the time, he said, well, why didn't you take his, meaning mine, graphic as the splash screen sort of thing? And he didn't say anything, and it was really vanity. Now, you know, I couldn't give a shit. You know, good if that idea gets about that I've been working on, but like, nah, I couldn't give a flying fuck for all that. You know, I'd want my coffee and all that sort of thing. It is nice. It would be nice to think that something came out of that, but I don't need to flog my guts for doing that, because time's short as well. I'm 50 fucking 5. When I came out of the show the other day, I looked at my ass and I thought, must be fucking, I don't fucking know. That was another thing that I was thinking the other day. I came across this guy, what does he call himself? Turtleneck philosopher or something. Seems to know his stuff unless he's being fed lines. But I remember back in the 80s, when there was this division in our year, one of the divisions in our year was between the majority of us and the posers. We hated the posers. This was in the mid-80s, the early to mid-80s, before like capitalism really, you know, with Thatcher and all that stuff. We're becoming a poser with all these cosmetics and all the rest of it. I mean, I use a cosmetic, that's only because my skin's fucked. But yeah, where you know, we'd all call out the posers, and none of us had any time for the posers because they were all pretty superficial and all the rest of it. Not that we were particularly sophisticated, I wouldn't have thought. It was just, that's just one of the divisions you have when you're younger, I suppose. But now look at it. Well, posers are celebrated, aren't they? It's like, well, it's a lucrative business, the cosmetics industry and all the rest of it. But yeah, I did watch that thing. And it did get me thinking about that. He did produce an argument against this guy who talks about stoicism, and I was tempted afterwards to add a comment saying, actually, your video does belong more to the 1980s than it does to what I see as the 2020s. That sort of stuff. But yeah, I'd have to look it up, some of the information on the guy who was slating. Not that I can rely on any information out there, obviously, because as we know, I don't know, but as we know, psychiatry being so as powerful as it is, and from the moment of Cath, of the architects and onwards, it was always going to be something like that, I think. So it's just chilling about house balls. It's just open all that. But yeah, so yeah. Anyway, nearly 20 minutes. This, bloody hell. Was there anything interesting? I think I have about subject positions and stuff like that. The rest of it is pretty much stuff I've said before, isn't it? So, you know, no big way. But yeah. I've had to set up all my rigging today, all my stuff today. The staff are on, so the night staff are on. So I said I was in a video conference with someone, just in case they came burst into the room. Of course, they know what I'm doing. It's like I said last night, how much of a farce is this? But that's the way it is, isn't it? But psychiatry just seems to be on a bender to I don't fucking know. But anyway, yeah, right in at about 8:30, 9 o'clock, time for me Asda curry. I've gone on to Asda curries because Tesco's stopped delivering to me. We put up to it and stuff. But that's what it is, and I'll start moving on after the shenanigans and the druggings today to concentrate on a few other things. Right, that's that.